I was trying to procrastinate on writing the script, but got a nosebleed out of literally nowhere, and somehow I managed not to get that stuff on my favorite sweater, so that's one way to get to work, I guess. I'm currently writing this with a napkin sticking out of my nostril. Hey, hi, hello, it's me, the guy that still has to stick to an intro. Welcome or welcome back. Today I decided to tackle a theory that I recently thought about it, that in my opinion makes too much sense not to share, and that absolutely fucking terrifies me. Why? Well, it turns out that we have to go back to my previous video, which is now over a month old and terribly sorry. Despite this video mainly being satire, they put some honest opinions in it, more specifically in point 1. But you know, it's Germany, the most popular ship. Just throw some more in mindlessly to make the fangirls happy. It's not like it's gonna get annoying or anything, right? All that slander against Germany, I meant every single word of it. Now I don't want you guys to see this in a black and white fashion, cause to be honest, I do ship them, but right now my opinion doesn't matter, cause we're gonna come back to these two later. Now let's proceed with as much order as my ADHD ass can handle. First of all, for this to make sense, I'm gonna talk about what's actually a pretty well-known theory in the Hetalia fandom, the Holy Roman Empire-Germany connection, which I'm gonna sum up very quickly. There's a good chunk of Italians that think that Germany and Holy Roman Empire are actually the same person, and you might be wondering why that is. There is a whole bunch of stuff that supports this theory, like their similar physical appearance, the flashback thing at the end of the Buon Valentino strips, which by the way didn't make it in the anime, or you know, the fact that if you look at history, Germany was part of the Holy Roman Empire, which was also called Holy Roman Empire German States at some point. Well, you get the point, there's some pretty strong evidence that these two might actually be the same person. But something that I've never seen discussed is, if this turned out to be canon, what would it mean for Italia itself? So here is my theory on where this show is headed. So you know how earlier I mentioned Germany and Italy? Well folks, that is because I actually think that Hima plans on making them canon. Let me explain. Now I feel like a lot of people have a very valid reason to not like Jarita. It's oversaturated, it's queerbaiting, and pretty much a whole lot of beating around the bush. But, what if it wasn't bait? What if this is actually building up to something? And I'm not pulling stuff out of my ass, I think I have a pretty valid reason to think so. This whole video was prompted by something I stumbled upon while reading random articles in the Hetalia wiki. Apparently Himura said that HRE and Italy would eventually get their happy ending. Now there is just a teeny tiny problem with this. HRE is supposedly fucking dead. Anyways, can we talk about how this strip absolutely breaks my heart? Like, Italy's so shocked, he's literally not even reacting, and that's way sadder if he started crying, in my opinion. Alright, now back to the theory. But if everything that's been fun so far about Germany being HRE is not a coincidence, then we know damn well what this means. But wait, there's more. Think back to what Italy said on episode 22 of Axis Powers. The episode where it says goodbye to Holy Roman Empire.
I'll miss you. I'll be waiting.
I want you to bring your attention to this specific line. I'll be waiting. So, I don't know about you, but this line feels weird. You don't make your character say that when you're just gonna kill off the person that they're saying this to. It's very specific and it also stays consistent. Clearly that has been put there for a reason. So we should ask ourselves, what if he's still waiting? And if he is, what if the one he was waiting for came back? But brain that, I can hear you say, they were kids, Felly probably doesn't even remember that. To which I say, this is anime we're talking about. Of course he doesn't. Let me tell you, like HRE, it's gonna come back. And there is one last thing. This is a little more far-fetched though, since it's based off of promo art more than anything from the manga or anime. You know how some Italia characters were given human names? Well, Germany in particular stands out because he actually doesn't have a last name. He's one of the main characters and he could have just been given Precious' last name. But no, Himura specifically decided to not give him a last name, while also stating that there was a reason that the fans would eventually figure out. Now, I can think of one reason why that is. These two pieces of promotional art. No, I'm not crazy. Now, if you've seen these images before, you probably already know how people already theorize that this is Germany and Italy's wedding, because of stuff like the flowers France is holding are Italy and Germany's national flowers respectively, or the fact that in the second image there's HRE and Ship Italia on the cake. To not talk about the very specific choice of Italy and Germany being the only two posing like that, but that's more of a stretch. So my theory here is, what if Germany's last name hasn't been revealed because it's not what we would expect? And yes, I know this is more in the realm of batshit speculation, but like, it made too much sense to me not to include it. Now, I get that you could say something like, but brain that Italy and Germany aren't that close anymore in real life, to which I say I completely see where you're coming from, but the thing is, Italian countries have a mind of their own. They're their own people with their own character traits that don't necessarily match any kind of stereotype or historical event. Let's take Italy for example, he's canonically bi. That's a character trait that isn't based off of any stereotype. Not all Italians are bi, it's simply a trait of his is that it's there because that's just how he is. Or hell, let's see Germany again. In one of the first ever Hetalia comics, we literally have Germany complaining about this one German historical figure from the 40s. So my point is, what the characters are like doesn't necessarily reflect the country itself or its people. And I don't think it's too much of a stretch to assume that this includes relationships with other characters too. So where does that lead us? Where do I think Hetalia is headed? Based on everything I explained in this video, this is how I think it's gonna go down. We're eventually gonna have the big relation that Germany is in fact HRE, explain the Buon Savantino ending and also why he was quote unquote born as a whole as 8-year-old or so. Chaos in the fandom ensues. After that he's probably gonna have a dramatic ass reunion kind of thing with Italy finally getting closer to this 15-year-old world day one day. Maybe with a kiss, why the hell not? At that point they'd probably just go all in. More chaos in the fandom ensues, including the crazy jury of fangirls attacking anyone that has a different ship with Germany or Italy. But hey, at least the literal queer bait will be over. Hey, thank you so much for watching. This video actually took a long time to write, but from now on I'll be getting help from a friend of mine for these scripted videos so I can get out more content like this. Why am I specifying like this? Well, that's because I'm gonna start a Hetalia playthrough. I recorded RPG playthroughs before, and since they require next to no editing and I sort of know what I'm doing, I feel like it's the perfect kind of content I can use to chill out while I come up with more good ideas for scripted videos. But until then, remember, that's just a yeah, I'm not doing that bullshit piece.